I just, the finals week is always nice when that's over. And I thought our team really had pretty nice showing down or over in Des Moines. That was a fun event. I can't tell you how many Hawkeye fans I ran into that were just so happy that it was there. And I hadn't really thought about that part of it, of just a lot of people were putting their family events, their Christmases around it. So I was very happy that for the men and women it went well. So that was kudos to our marketing, I think, for thinking outside the box there. But I thought we played pretty well. Obviously, it was an opponent we should have done well against and needed to do well against. And I think for the most part we really did, especially in that second half. Now the trick, I think the men's side of the conference has shown us how nervous these games are right before Christmas. I mean, boy, Indiana, would they come back and win by 1 or something like that? So any coach will tell you that these games, when everybody is, excited about going home and thinking about, the Christmas list or whatever, if they celebrate. So we have a team, though, I think is locked in. I think I've loved our practices ever since getting back from Cleveland State. I feel like there's a lightness. I feel like there's another step forward in becoming, I think, who we're going to become. I think this non-conference has been a lot of a lot of experiences that have come together to, we had a little bit of an injury for Hannah, took her out of the lineup a little bit. She's healthy, getting her back, trying to figure out who's going to be that 4, who we can use at the 3, at the 2. So I'm really excited with how it's gelling. And now we have a team in Loyola who came off a big win. They won on a buzzer beater, have a long range shooter that can hit it. They don't have as much size. They've shown a lot on film that they front, which we haven't seen a lot of fronting. So they're going to be, they want to go home with a major upset. I think if this non-conference has shown anything, is you definitely get everybody's best shot. But I think we've had a great time of prep. We've had a great focus, and hopefully we'll have one more here. So that's my opening, folks. Any particular questions?
Will Hannah start tomorrow?
At this point, we're still in flux, but I think that could be a strong possibility. Or we're just still seeing, how we want to shape that up.
How do you weigh those factors in who starts? And would you like to get Hannah more than 17 minutes?
Yeah, I think with her being coming back off the injury, some of it was limited a little bit when we were bringing her in. Some of it, she had, just basketball's funny like that, even though you're really in good shape, but if you sit out for a while, man, a couple trips down the floor, you're sucking wind pretty intensely, even an athlete like Hannah. So part of that limiting, part of it not coming immediately, putting 30 minutes on that recovering and healing, and then the team we played, it didn't. We were able to rest and we didn't need to play all those minutes. So a lot of things came into that. And then how do we make those decisions? Or, we track a lot of things in practice and we stat a lot of things. And, sometimes it's, really, really clear, this person is just killing it. And it's a Caitlin Clark-like, or it's a, Megan Gustafson, when they start, they're starting for their careers, right? A lot of times, though, there's just, when you have a really healthy, good, balanced team, it's so close. It's really close, and that's when you have to get, everybody understanding that when my number's called, we're ready to go, whether I start, whether I come off the bench. And thankfully, we have a team, we've always had a pretty good culture that gets that. Doesn't mean they're not disappointed if they, you can't start them all, but they understand it and they keep pushing, in practice. So that post group is, they're competitive and they're pushing, and it's been really, it's been a good battle.
Do you have kids, or have you had kids that are just better coming off the bench?
Yeah, there are. That's a great question, and I think that's what we've been trying to figure out too. Is who's more productive and more efficient, maybe when they're just coming off and they can get a sense for that, get a sense for the flow of the game, and don't feel that pressure. And it's usually the interesting thing is, very few people say that, you know. They don't like, I think I'm better off the bench. I'd like to defer. Everybody wants that because that's what society always celebrates, right? That's what you got to be. You got to be the corner suite. You got to be the one. And I think the best teams can really understand that role. And I think that there are some kids that are better off the bench, but most of them will probably argue that I'd rather start,
You guys are sitting here with just one more non-conference game and then a break before Big Ten play. What areas do you feel like you guys are doing really well in, and then maybe areas that you feel like need to be improved before Big Ten play?
That's a great question. I think overall, our defense has been pretty solid.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we haven't gone against, the UCLA's, right? Or, but we, facing some good, K-State was good. Virginia Tech had a lot of, great skill players, and we're getting everybody's best shot. I think usually overall the defense is pretty good, but then there might be one area, like we've let one person get hot. We haven't really gone over the ball screens as much as we wanted to, or our showing was a little flat or flooding or whatever. But I think overall the mindset to that, I think we've liked that. I think our offense is sometimes it can flow a little bit herky-jerky. Other times it's really moving and grooving. So I think that continues to be a work in progress. But again, I think it's as we've been going, a lot of times you're trying to see different combos out there. But I really like the progression. When I say our staff does. I think we saw some really good moments flowing in that Cleveland State game. So I think I just think we'll want a little bit more consistency of that offense, of not going a few minutes where it just is one pass and we're forcing something. But typically, our teams continue to get a little bit better if you do it right. You're right when you need it most, you're hitting it. So I'm hopeful that's we're going to hit this Big Ten season, and then we're going to get test after test after test that'll season us. And hopefully we can win as we're seasoned, and then really be flowing again, when you hit that middle of February.
Go ahead.
I'm sure you guys knew that you have a little bit better production out of Sharon this year than when she was injured last year, of course. But I think a lot of fans are a little surprised to see, 9 points, 5 rebounds, what she's averaging right now. I mean, did you guys expect at the start of the year this kind of production out of her? Has she surprised you guys with how much she's done this year on the court?
I think, not surprised. I think Sharon was on track before that injury. I call Sharon a old school Iowa post player from the 6-on-6 days. She's going to do a job. She's going to get there. And if you deliver it to her where she can, just do a simple boom, boom move, she's very effective. Unfortunately, the injury kind of set back. And then, of course, we had Monica rising. Sharon has an unbelievable work ethic, so I'm not surprised. I think we have really a group of 4 posts that do different things really well, and that's really great. It's really challenging because sometimes I want that, and I want this, and I want that thing all in one at this particular 3 or 4 minutes. And that's the thing, you just never have enough minutes, right, to get everybody in that's working hard, that deserves the minutes. So, that's when you're trying to make those right decisions. But going back to Sharon, she has just, she works really hard. She's a really strong defender. Like, we don't always talk about the defense, right, because we love to score points and we like to be efficient. But Sharon's very strong in there. And a lot of times, we're going to look a little different. Obviously, we are already than we did last year. But the emphasis isn't so much on the scoring of the post. We just want to do our jobs when we get it. And Sharon really understands that. And defensively, she just is pretty solid. She's able to push him out, and then she just, can grab those boards. So I'm excited, not surprised for her, because she's had a unique path, right? She's had a lot of strife in high school with losing her mother, and just kept, battling that next day and that freshman year. And then to have these moments is really fun for a kid that's working so hard. So I think her defense has always given her a little bit of the edge, just because I like that physicality. And I think that showed in the Iowa State game after the first half. their post is a really good post, great kid, is Sharon kind of settled too. And then when she settled, and then we didn't let up quite as many points. I think they only let up 3 in that second half. So I like that about Sharon. And I think she's going to be key, whether, who comes off the bench or who starts. I think that component's going to be really good.
You mentioned the defense. The one area that's been really good this year is the rebounding, both offensively and defensively. And in the past, rebounding has kind of been that thing that people have pointed out as something that needed to improve. Just talk about where that is right now.
Well, I think that's a big key, and I think that could be where we've got a little bit better. Anytime Hannah's on the floor, you got a shot to get the board. Doesn't matter where she is on the floor or if it's offense or defense. Some kids just have a knack for it. She's got a nose for it, she's got a feel for it, and then she's got the body for it. So she just helps you automatically get a little bit more efficiency with that. And then again, Sharon's size and her strength, sometimes she just is able to use that, to let the ball, really carry them off. She's not going to sky up and get it, but she's taking up that space. And we've tried to make it more of an emphasis, but it's, that's the key. Lisa, that's, ever since I played for Lisa, if there's one thing, it's rebounding. Hasn't always shown, it's also offense, in case we haven't noticed. But, you get more possessions with the rebounding, right? If you out-rebound them both ways, it gives you a better shot to win. So I think that, and I think Sydney Alforter, when she's on the floor, we all love that kid. She just has a nose for it too. So you got a couple different kids playing a few more minutes now that really, that's their thing. So when that's their thing, then all of a sudden it becomes a thing, and then everybody wants to get it. So that's what we're hoping is going to continue to happen, starting against Loyola, because if we're outsize them in the post position, especially if Sharon or Addie's in there, and then carrying, going into the Big Ten season, that's going to be huge.
You talked